We do the scene.
And then we had a lot of girls downstairs. Some beer and stuff like
I see.
And I haul off and smack him on the face.
Fire!
Sidney Luft called Judy Garland the love of his life after their divorce, but behind closed doors, he made her life a living hell. Sophia Loren found herself caught in a passionate love triangle between Hollywood's king, Cary Grant, and Carlo Ponti. And you'll be surprised who she ultimately chose. And Marlon Dietrich even managed to tame Jimmy Stewart, Hollywood's most eligible bachelor. Rumor has it she might have even gotten pregnant by him. Let's take a closer look at these and more unforgettable romances and breakups from Hollywood's past.
Did I make you nervous?
You never make me nervous. Why?
Well, I thought I saw your hand shaking a bit when you were fixing your makeup over Windsor.
A hangover from the farewell party, I expect.
1. Judy Garland and Sidney Luft. By the time Judy Garland met Sidney Luft in the early 1950s, she had already lived a lifetime in the spotlight. Luft, meanwhile, was a former test pilot turned film producer, confident, resourceful, and like Judy, no stranger to turbulence. Their first spark ignited in the lively haze of a New York nightclub. Garland, radiant and quick-witted, had the room's attention. Luft, intrigued, was quick to approach. The complication? They were both married to other people. In 1952, after parting from their respective spouses, they married. At first, Luft became her anchor. He managed her career, pushed for her triumphant return in A Star Is Born in 1954, and accompanied her on celebrated concert tours. The public saw a glamorous, if fiery, couple. Behind closed doors, though, passion often gave way to conflict. Garland's emotional swings clashed with Luft's short fuse, and alcohol only made matters worse. Arguments turned bitter, accusations sharper. By 1965, their marriage had reached breaking point. Judy claimed he was drunk and violent. Luft said she was impossible to live with. The divorce was messy in public, yet Luft would later call Judy the love of my life. It was perhaps the truest summary of their union, two stars who shone brilliantly together but burned out under the heat of their own fire. 2. Douglas Fairbanks and Mary Pickford. When Mary Pickford and Douglas Fairbanks first crossed paths, both were already major Hollywood stars, and both were married to other people. Pickford was the America's sweetheart of silent films, adored for her youthful charm and curls. Fairbanks, meanwhile, was the swashbuckling king of adventure films, famous for his athletic stunts and infectious energy. Their initial connection was professional, but there was no mistaking the spark between them. After divorcing their respective spouses, they married in 1920 in what became one of the most celebrated unions of the silent era. The press dubbed them the King and Queen of Hollywood, and their Beverly Hills estate, Pickfair, turned into a gathering place for the era's most influential artists, politicians, and royalty. For years, they seemed inseparable, a living embodiment of Hollywood glamour. But time brought change. As the 1920s gave way to the 1930s and talking pictures rose to dominance, both stars saw their careers waver. Rumors began to swirl of infidelity on both sides. Fairbanks was linked to younger women. By 1936, the golden couple's reign had ended. Their divorce marked the close of a Hollywood fairy tale, replaced by the sobering truth that even the most dazzling love stories can dim when the spotlight shifts. 3. Sophia Loren and Cary Grant. Sophia Loren, barely in her 20s, was already captivating international audiences when she arrived in Hollywood in the mid-1950s. Her beauty, poise, and magnetic screen presence turned heads, including that of Cary Grant, one of the industry's most beloved leading men. At the time, Loren was romantically involved with Italian producer Carlo Ponti, who later became her husband. Grant, meanwhile, was married to actress Betsy Drake. Yet while filming The Pride and the Passion in 1956, the connection between Loren and Grant deepened into a romance. Grant was reportedly smitten, writing her heartfelt letters and urging her to be with him. Their relationship carried over into Houseboat in 1958, a role originally meant for Drake. Hollywood buzzed about their affair, but Loren, despite Grant's charm, ultimately chose Ponti. She later admitted that her feelings for Grant were strong, yet her loyalty to Ponti and her desire for stability won out. The romance fizzled, but the legend of Cary Grant and Sophia Loren's near love affair endures, a story of what might have been between two of cinema's most glamorous figures. 4. Jimmy Stewart and Marlon Dietrich. Before his 1949 marriage to Gloria Hattrick MacLaine, Jimmy Stewart was Hollywood's most eligible bachelor, tall, soft-spoken, and effortlessly charming. In 1939, he was paired with the enigmatic Marlon Dietrich in the western Destry Rides Again. Dietrich, a seasoned star known for her smoky allure, reportedly found Stewart irresistible, and their on-screen chemistry spilled over into real life. Rumors quickly began to swirl that their relationship had turned physical, adding a layer of intrigue to the collaboration. Some accounts suggest Dietrich became pregnant during their affair, but the details remain shrouded in mystery and speculation. It is said she made the painful decision to terminate the pregnancy, a choice that weighed heavily on her and left a lasting shadow over their brief romance. Stewart, for reasons that remain unclear, was the one to end the relationship, whether it was due to timing, conflicted priorities, or the pressures of their burgeoning careers. The affair quietly faded into the past. Their chemistry lives on in the playful banter and smouldering glances of Destry Rides Again, a testament to a romance that burned briefly but brightly behind the silver screen. 5. Marlon Brando and Rita Moreno. Marlon Brando was a force of nature, charismatic, unpredictable, and magnetic. Rita Moreno, a young Puerto Rican actress just started to make her mark in Hollywood, found herself drawn into this intense orbit in the early 1950s. Their on-again, off-again relationship would span nearly 8 years, marked by passion and pain. Their romance burned hot, but was deeply unstable. Brando's reputation for infidelity was well known, and Moreno later admitted she frequently uncovered evidence of his affairs, which shattered her trust again and again. The emotional strain took a heavy toll on her, especially when she became pregnant. Brando arranged for her to have an abortion, but the procedure went tragically wrong, leading to severe physical and psychological consequences. Devastated by the ordeal and the tumultuous nature of their relationship, Moreno reached a breaking point and attempted to take her own life. Despite the pain, fate brought them together professionally again in the late 1960s while filming The Night of the Following Day. Brando reportedly hoped to rekindle what they once had, but Moreno had found a new sense of peace and strength, and she firmly declined. Their story is a powerful reminder that even the brightest stars can cast dark shadows in their personal lives, where charm and genius do not always equal kindness and loyalty. 6. Arthur Miller and Marilyn Monroe. Arthur Miller and Marilyn Monroe seemed like two worlds apart. He was a serious playwright, deeply entrenched in intellectual and political circles, while she was Hollywood's brightest star, adored worldwide for her charm, vulnerability, and charisma. Yet despite their differences, their love was passionate and genuine, captivating the public's imagination. They married in 1956 in a highly publicized ceremony, sparking headlines and symbolizing the union of art and glamour. However, their marriage soon faced a series of challenges that tested their bond. While filming The Prince and the Showgirl in England, Monroe stumbled upon some private writings by Miller in which he openly expressed his unhappiness and frustrations about their marriage. The discovery devastated her, leaving deep emotional scars and driving a painful wedge between the two. The pressures of fame weighed heavily on Monroe, while Miller grappled with the challenges of balancing his career and personal life. The couple also found themselves drifting apart creatively, with Miller's serious and somber worldview clashing with Monroe's desire for freedom and joy. By 1961, after 5 years of marriage marked by love, heartbreak, and complexity, they divorced. What began as a hopeful, even fairy tale romance evolved into a bittersweet chapter. A reminder that even the most star-crossed couples can struggle beneath the surface of glamour and success. 7. Greta Garbo and John Gilbert. The relationship between Greta Garbo and John Gilbert remains one of Hollywood's most enigmatic and mysterious tales. Both were silent film legends adored by fans and critics alike, often cast as the perfect on-screen pair, their chemistry undeniable. This led to widespread rumors that their off-screen relationship was just as passionate as their roles suggested. Many insiders, however, believe these rumors were little more than a clever publicity stunt orchestrated by MGM to heighten the allure of their films and attract audiences eager for romance both on and off screens. The story took a dramatic turn when John Gilbert reportedly planned a double wedding alongside his close friend, director King Vidor, hoping to marry Greta Garbo in a joyful ceremony surrounded by friends and loved ones. But on the day of the wedding, Garbo mysteriously vanished. She simply did not show up. The no-show left Gilbert devastated, heartbroken, and bewildered as he was left to face the shock and humiliation alone. This sudden disappearance became emblematic of the bittersweet and possibly unfulfilled nature of their relationship, a poignant heartbreak hidden beneath the dazzling glamour and bright lights of old Hollywood. The Garbo-Gilbert tale continues to captivate fans, reminding us that behind the spectacle of Hollywood lies a world of secrets, vulnerabilities, and emotional complexity, often masked by fame. 8. Frank Sinatra and Ava Gardner. When Frank Sinatra and Ava Gardner first crossed paths in the 1940s, it wasn't love at first sight. Gardner, known for her fierce independence and strong will, initially saw Sinatra as conceited and egotistical, traits that clashed with her own fiery spirit. Yet despite this rocky start, their mutual love of late-night parties, jazz clubs, and living life on the edge soon drew them together in a passionate and tumultuous affair. At the time, Sinatra was still married, adding a scandalous edge to their relationship that fascinated the public and Hollywood gossip columns alike. Their love affair was fiery and tempestuous, marked by intense jealousy and possessiveness. Despite the chaos, their passion led them to marry in 1951 in a ceremony that was the talk of Tinseltown. But marriage did not tame their wild love. Infidelity on both sides and emotional volatility slowly eroded the foundation of their union. By 1957, the storm had become too much to weather and they divorced amid headlines and heartbreak. Yet even in its turmoil, their relationship had become one of the most legendary and talked about romances of classic Hollywood. A story of love, lust, and heartbreak lived out in the unforgiving glare of the spotlight. 9. Elizabeth Taylor and Richard Burton. Elizabeth Taylor and Richard Burton were Hollywood's ultimate power couple of the 1960s, captivating the world with their intense chemistry and larger-than-life personalities. They first met on the set of Cleopatra in 1963, both already married to other people. But that didn't stop their spark from igniting into one of the most passionate and scandalous affairs Hollywood has ever seen. Their relationship was as dramatic off-screen as it was on, instantly capturing the media's obsessive attention. They married in 1964 in a lavish ceremony, diving headfirst into a life defined by glamour, wild parties, and a seemingly endless media frenzy. But behind the dazzling facade lurked serious struggles. Infidelity was rampant on both sides, extravagant spending spiraled out of control, and their battles with substance abuse only intensified the chaos. In 1974, after a decade of highs and lows, they divorced, shocking many who thought their love was unbreakable. However, this second marriage was short-lived, ending within months as the same patterns of passion and conflict re-emerged. Their rollercoaster relationship became a symbol of Hollywood's dramatic excesses, a love that burned incredibly bright but ultimately consumed itself in the flames. Taylor and Burton's saga remains a timeless tale of passion, addiction, and the painful complexities of two souls entwined in both love and destruction. 10. Debbie Reynolds and Eddie Fisher. Debbie Reynolds and Eddie Fisher's marriage was once considered one of Hollywood's sweetest and most stable unions. They tied the knot in 1955, surrounded by their closest friends and fellow stars, including Elizabeth Taylor and her husband Mike Todd. But tragedy struck in 1958 when Mike Todd, Elizabeth Taylor's husband, and a close friend of the couple died suddenly in a devastating plane crash. Yet amid this sorrow, another blow was about to hit that would forever change their lives and the Hollywood landscape. In the wake of Todd's death, Eddie Fisher shocked the world by beginning an affair with Elizabeth Taylor, Reynolds' best friend. The betrayal was scandal that reverberated through Hollywood, sending shockwaves beyond the stars and into the public eye. Their marriage ended in a highly publicized 1959 divorce that not only broke hearts but severely damaged Fisher's career. Soon after, Fisher married Taylor, cementing the betrayal but deepening the wounds among fans and friends alike. The story of Debbie Reynolds, Eddie Fisher, and Elizabeth Taylor remains one of old Hollywood's most poignant tales of friendship, love, and heartbreak. A reminder that even the brightest stars are not immune to the painful complexities of human relationships. And that's just a glimpse behind the glamour of old Hollywood, where love was as complicated as the movies they made. These stars lived big, loved hard, and sometimes paid a heavy price. Which story surprised you the most? Drop a comment below. I want to hear your thoughts. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more juicy Hollywood secrets coming your way. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.